We're excited to get back out here and officially start the season here for the 21-22 season. I expect we'll have a really, really good crowd tomorrow night. You know, if I saw how the Ferris State crowd was, you know, our student section was incredible. I think we had over 1,000 students here for an exhibition game against Ferris State. So I anticipate, again, we're going to have a packed house tomorrow night against Niagara. Niagara's a very well coached team. You know, Greg Paulus does a great job. He's a good friend of mine. They're led by Marcus Hammond, who's an all-league guard in their conference. He's a lefty, really talented, can score the ball, can play make for others. He's very, very creative and talented. Then they got a Justin Roberts, who's a prolific shooter, who I think hit 8 threes in their exhibition game about a week and a half ago. He was 8 from 10 from 3, but he's a terrific shooter. So we're going to have our hands full on the defensive end. We got to really limit them in transition. And then we got to make things really tough on those 2 guys. And then on the other end, I think from Niagara, you're going to expect teams going to press a little bit, zone press. They're going to fall back man. You know, they're going to give you different looks on the defensive end. So, but we're excited to get back out here and play and get this season officially started.
Coach, how do you think your style and the way that you want to play matches up against Niagara and what they want to do?
Yeah, I think it matches up well. You know, Adam, we're really not going to change much game to game. You know, we want to play really, really fast on offense. We want to share the ball on offense, and then we want to crash the glass like crazy. And then on the defensive end, we're going to try to be disruptive at times. But, again, our baseline is going to be our pack line defense. You know, I want to see us execute our defensive system. I think we're going to be challenged in transition on defensively. We weren't as much against Ferris State in the exhibition game and weren't in our private scrimmage or secret scrimmage, whatever the heck they call it. You know, so I'll be really curious to see how our transition defense is, because that's something that we work on every single day. We take a lot of pride on it. To me, that's a key to being a really good defensive team is, can you make teams run half-court offense?
One of the things that we saw the other night against Ferris State was Adam Kunkel really get going offensively. He made 4 3-pointers against Ferris State. That's more than he made in any game last year, his first year with you guys. He obviously had a down year shooting the ball last year. What was the process like to sort of get him on track this year? And, you know, because I think you've said many times he's a much better shooter than what we saw last year, and we got to see that the other night. So what was it like to sort of try to bring him along and get him confident that, hey, you can do this at this level?
Yeah, I think first and foremost you have to earn your confidence, and Adam's done that, you know, through his work. He's put in countless hours in the gym, you know, whether it's with our staff, student managers, by himself. He spent a lot of time in the gym, but I want him to play with that freedom. You know, Adam is a little bit of a free spirit on the floor. You know, he has to be able to have that rope, I think, to be really good. And I'm going to give Adam that rope. He's earned it. I mean, again, if I look in practice, I think Adam, could be off by 1 percentage point or something. He's shooting over 40% for sure from 3 in practice, and with a lot of attempts, a lot. And I'm going to give him the neon green light. You know, we need him to shoot. We need him to score the ball. He can do it. He does it every single day in practice. That's kind of his role on our team, is to be a playmaker. And, again, he can pass for others as well, right? He can make plays, but he's wired to score. That's just naturally kind of how he wants to play, and that's how we need him to play, to be a really good player.
And to piggyback on that, do you feel like your offense is designed or best suited to drive and attack the basket and then sort of play off that, whether that's a guy going up and finishing or dropping it off to another guy or finding an open shot on the perimeter? Is that sort of the catalyst for your offense?
Yeah, you know, we want to play really fast, and then we want to flow into great spacing. I think that's the one thing we coach every single possession, whether we're in transition, whether we're in the half court, whether the ball goes into the post, whether it's on a drive. How are we spacing the floor? Right, and being able to keep the space, not only on the first side of the floor on the offensive end, but how do you respace it back on the second and third sides of the floor as well, which is hard to do, right? Because you're in that battle. Defense, they want to keep it tight, right? And then the offense, you want to try to create as much space as you can. So we want to maximize that space on the floor. So yeah, drive and kick is kind of what our at the end of the day, it's what our offense is after movement.
Coach, what's this time of year like for you? I mean, I know you prepare for it all year, and here you are the day before the first game of the season. What is this kind of moment and this day or so like for you?
You know, the first day of practice is probably one of my most exciting days. I love practice. I mean, for our players, this is what they look forward to, obviously, you know, our game days. And, you know, again, exciting, though. It's exciting to have fans back in here. It's exciting to play against somebody else. I think our guys are tired of constantly practicing against each other, right, and beating up on each other. We want to beat up on an opponent. So it's an exciting time of the year, man. There's a season of hope. Everybody across the country is 0-0 right now, and everybody has hopes of winning their league, you know, going to the NCAA tournament, you know, advancing in the NCAA tournament, and it's about sticking with it. It's a marathon, obviously, but we're really excited to get things going.
Obviously, things heat up when you get into conference play and whatnot, but these early season games, I mean, last year you all went on a heck of a run early in the season. How important is this early season stretch here?
It's very important. You know, number one, to kind of, you know, solidify who we are. What's our identity? No matter who we play, you know, whether it's Niagara, whether it's Kent State, or whoever the heck's after that, doesn't really matter. It's about Xavier. It's about us. And then it's important for our league too. Right? You know, you look holistically, how you get all these metrics, right, about strength of schedule, and we need the Big East to do as good as possible. We cheer for every other Big East team, right? We would love for everybody to be undefeated heading into Big East play. That way, that every game in the Big East is worth a lot of points, right? There's a lot at stake. So again, non-conference is very, very important. We want to get off to a great start, but most importantly, we want to be able to formulate our identity.
I'm sure you've answered this question several times, but to overcoming the injury of Zach Freman here early in the season, how do you go about doing that when he's such an impactful guy?
Yeah, you know, obviously we would love to have Zach out there on the floor. He's a tremendous player, all-conference guy. I think he's the best front court guy in our league. It is what it is. You know, we got to have. It's not going to be just one guy that makes up for not having Zach out there on the floor. It's going to have to be by committee. You know, I mean, he averaged almost 18 a game last year, 9 rebounds a game. So it's going to be a little bit of everybody kind of chipping in, you know, making up for that on the offensive end, and then obviously on the glass as well. I mean, Zach was our top rebounder. He's one of the top rebounders in the Big East. You know, we got to have our guards rebound. Guys like Paul Scruggs, Colby Jones, you know, Jerome Hunter. You know, I'm challenging those guys to go get 7, 8 rebounds a game because we're going to need it.
Coach, you haven't shied away from the fact that your first 3 seasons haven't ended the way that you'd like them to. How do you ensure that this season goes differently and that this team can get to the NCAA tournament where you ultimately want to be?
Got to attack every day, Adam. I mean, like I like our team. I like our talent. We got to keep everybody on the ship, you know, the entire time. You know, I saw this quote the other day, and I loved it. You know, when basketball is really simple when you keep one goal in mind, winning. Right, but then a lot of other things come into play, right? Shots, minutes, what position am I playing? Keeping everybody on the ship is extremely important. We're deeper than we have been, so I think that's going to be really important moving forward. But, you know, just continue to progress, attack every single day. Again, the rest of it will take care of itself. You know, obviously, there's some of the outlier. We've got to stay healthy, right? Little things like that, but it's just about attacking our system every day, competing, getting better, being driven. Those are the things that will lead us to success and ultimately where we want to go.
You talked the other night after the exhibition game about Paul and how his mindset and the way that, you know, his teammates could see him and the way that he was approaching defense and how that set the tone for the rest of the game for everyone else. And I'm curious, with this being Paul's 5th season, you've got to see him more than anyone else. You've got to be around him more than anyone else. Is there anything that you've noticed that maybe he's approaching this year differently than years before, or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, he really, you can tell Paul loves his teammates. And I think he's done a really good job, not just on the court during practice for those few hours a day that we're on the court, but just developing relationships with the other guys on the team. We really weren't able to do that last year. Just due to all the COVID restrictions and whatnot. You can see that the chemistry's there, the bonds are there, they're tight, right? And I think that leads to Paul being that much better of a leader on the court, right? Those guys don't want to let Paul down. And when they see Paul, you know, willing to sacrifice and do different things, whether it's diving on the floor, being the first to the floor, man, it just becomes contagious with the rest of the guys. You know, it's like if he's going to do that and he's supposed to be this all-league guy, Bob Cousy, you know, finalist guy, all that stuff, and he's willing to do that, man, how are you not willing to do that? And I think he's just really set that tone. Just starts with his relationships, so I think off the floor he's done a great job with everybody on our team.
Kiki's been battling bronchitis. Is he back with the team yet? Do we think we'll see him on the bench tomorrow night?
Yes, he is back. He's got to get him back in shape. You know, he was out for a little bit over a week, almost a week and a half. So it'll be good to get him back out here. He practiced yesterday for the first time in about a week and a half. So it's good to have him back.
About Zach's injury and how you overcome that, but what do you ask of Zach during this time when he's kind of sidelined and he can't be out there? What do you ask of him?
Yeah, Zach, it's hard on Zach. Zach's an ultra competitor, but he has to understand he still can have a great impact on our team, right? He can still help teach the younger guys, whether it's Cesar Edwards, who's a freshman, he's trying to figure out what's going on out there on the floor. You know, Zach's got to coach him and help him get better. You know, be fully invested in his teammates, the successes that they do have, and maybe even some of the failures. Being there for those guys, and again, just being a leader. He's got to be a leader, whether he's on the floor, not on the floor, in a boot, not in a boot, crutches. I don't really care. He's a leader of our team, and that's a great responsibility that he has.
A real simple one. What would your message to Xavier fans be heading into the season?
You know, get behind this team. I love the group we have, love the group of young men that we have. We're going to represent Xavier the right way, both on and off the court. You know, just get in here to Cintas, make this the hardest place to play in college basketball. Thanks, guys.